welcome to The Offensive, where you can be as offensive as you want or need to be, but not to me. That would be rude. Okay, anyway, so today I wanted to talk about the shooting that happened in Florida. I'm sure everyone is overhearing it not because it's annoying, no, that'd be wrong. Overhearing it because it's such an horrible thing that someone goes into a school and shoots people. Like, that happens nearly every day in America to me. Like, an Australian who is looking in to America, it just looks like every day there's a school shooting. You know, that's how I see it, because I can't turn on a TV without seeing a school shooting or a shooting of some description happening in America. Like, I don't say Australia isn't perfect. We do have our, Burke Street shooting. We do have Linked Cafe, and we do have a lot of mob shootings where we mob people are going around to people's houses and getting the houses wrong and shooting up innocent people's houses for no reason, other than they could be a gangland guy in there, so they shoot up their house as a drive-by. As I said, I'm not saying that our country is perfect, and those are the things that we are dealing with at the moment. But it's not as if we have, like, the last mass shooting we had was in Tasmania, in a place my parents just visited, called Port Arthur, and it was a tourist spot, as it used to be a jail there, and it's now just a ruin of a jail, and they get to talk about things and show people things, and people were there just enjoying the day, having a cafe, having a sip in a cafe, after walking around all day feeling a bit puffed out. But sorry about that, my phone went off, but I can continue my point. Point being, so all these people were in the cafe, minding their own business. As I said, they looked around Port Arthur, they were tired, sitting in the cafe, blah blah blah. Anyway, so this man named Martin Bryant decided to ruin these tourists' day by going along and shooting everyone, not only the workers, but also the tourists, and there are a lot of people just being shot up. He was a bit loco, a bit mental, and he decided to go shoot people. We're not sure exactly to this day why, other than he was mental, and had a mental disease. That was just the worst mass shooting. But the point I was making was this: straight after Port Arthur happened, in 1995, 96, I think, around about that time, I heard on the news, this is when I was a kid, this is what I remember, that they were having a gun amnesty. Now, we changed the laws to say that you can have certain things like rifles and stuff for property reasons, like for rural properties, or if you have one, that you are allowed to have it if, like, certain weapons were they were licensed, and you can have a license for them, but if the cops came to your house, you would have to show them your license, but also show them that your guns are locked away in a gun safe, and they had to be in a gun safe. Now, those were the rules. But if you wanted to hand your guns in, that was fine. There's a gun amnesty, no questions asked. You go in, you give the cops your guns, and you walk away. That was the way it was done. I think some people got some small fees for handing in their guns, I think they were doing. And then after that, if you were caught with a gun and you didn't have a license, you were put in prison, basically. And that was the worst thing on earth. So, this is what's happening these days, and that's why there are fewer guns on our street and fewer mass shootings. There are smaller shootings, but they're not mass shootings, and that's what we're saying now. We've had no mass shootings since the 1990s, and that may be that the American people can adopt this, because I see that there's always criminal shootings or mass shootings or cops being shot or people just being shot in general in America a lot. There's like nearly every day there's a shooting, and it seems to be an awful high rate of shooting, and it's not right. And to sit there and do nothing and say that, guns don't kill people, people kill people, yeah, no, that's just, it's not right. Guns do kill people. It just has to be the people that are a bit screw loose up there that go and shoot people. And if these children are going into a Kmart, and going into a department store and going and buying these guns with no license, no nothing, just you can buy a handgun without the criminal wait time, that's absurd. And the fact that he can go in and buy the bullets, buy the gun, and just go and shoot up his classmates is a despicable act. That's just wrong. And I think that people with mental defects should actually get checked as well. Like in America, if you're going to have a wait time, also get a mental health check, that they have to go see some psychologist or psychiatrist after ask them about 10 or 20 questions, and if they pass those questions, then they can own a gun. But if they don't pass those questions, they are mentally unstable and therefore unallowed to own a gun, and they have to wait another 5 years before they can go back and do a psych test again. I think that is what should happen. And if it doesn't happen, I think that Trump's a bit of a dickhead, really. If not that, a gun amnesty. I think a gun amnesty and turning those guns into things of use instead of being things of being weapons should be a thing, for sure. But freely toting weapons, I think, is a disgusting American law, and right to bear arms is one of the oldest things in the American Constitution, and I think it's wrong. But I do believe that a man has a right to defend their house when they are under attack, but I don't think they have the right to just outrightly shoot innocent people. That's what I'm not okay with. So I really think that the Americans should adopt the same thing as Australia has in the way of gun laws. But I don't know, put your thoughts below what you think should happen. I myself have no gun policy. I have myself shot guns and been around guns before. It's not as if, you know, I'm going, oh, I've never touched a gun, I'll never touch a gun, you're bad, blah, blah, blah. I will say I have touched a gun, I have fired a gun. And I just don't like guns. I don't. I'm not a gun person. I like guns in video games and things, which is the second thing I'm going to talk about right now, is that in America there is some Christian lobbyists, but also some right-wingers out there who sit there and say, but the video games did it to the children, but you know, the rap music did it to the children, the violent movies did this to the children. To that I say, you're fucking loco as the people who get the guns and shoot a lot of people. That's what I think. Like, I play a lot of video games where there is violent content. I play a lot of Assassin's Creed, I play a lot of COD, I play Fortnite, I play just a lot of things. Also, I play a lot of you know, roleplay games where, you know, there are, you know, swords and things like that. It doesn't mean that I don't have respect for people dying, or people that are dead, or people who get shot in front of me. I don't have, like, feelings for people who die. Like, I do. I really do. If I know the difference between a video violence and a real violence. Like, I can see blood in, like, most games. Like, I'm pointing to my television right now because that's where I play my games. But I see on my gaming console blood, sweat, guts, all that. And sometimes when I see a little bit more violent than I'm used to, I do get a bit squeamish, and I do see blood. I never used to get squeamish, but now I do get a bit choked up about seeing blood. I'm a bit yuck. So, you know, I do know the difference between a video death, like a fake death on a television screen that I created by shooting someone or hurting someone via, you know, video violence, versus real life violence, which I know is different, because basically in real life, once you shoot someone, they don't get back up and try and kill you like in video games. In real life, you shoot someone, they bleed out, they die. You know, it's pretty simple and straightforward. We are not godchildren. Like, we get shot, we die. We are not, you know, impervious to bullets. We're on those games. You can adjust the level as to how far you can shoot a bad guy before he, you know, plunks down or at least gets injured. Like, look at like Skyrim, for example. You've got your follower Lydia. Now, you can adjust the level on her and how far either you can want her to be as impervious as you, like in God mode, or less God mode where she can get hurt and even killed. Now, in real life, if I had a best friend follow me around, I can't do that. If someone comes along and stabs my best friend or kills my best friend or beheads my best friend, they are not walking around afterwards. They are actually bleeding to death, needing to go to hospital and possibly dead. So I do know the difference between that. Like, there is, like, I've been gaming since I was this many, 3 years old. I've been gaming since I was 3 years old. Now, I don't care. I don't think that video violence has anything to do with anything. It's the way that the child is brought up and the environment that they are brought up in, and also with, you know, some mental diseases being an inherited thing. And I think that's what it's got to do with. And if you bring somebody up in a full gun house where the house is full of guns, yeah, they're gonna do it. You know, they're gonna be like, oh, my parents have got guns, so I can have guns, so let's go shoot things. You know, and they will see it like that. But if you're in a safe gun house and you teach gun safety, that's fantastic. But what if your child has a disability and they don't see that? They don't see the little thin line. They don't see the thin line of reality versus, you know, fake, you know, video violence. It's just not right. And also, to blame movies is also a wrong thing. Like, yeah, like, I go watch Wolverine and I feel like I'm gonna have, like, things coming out of me. I'm gonna go smack somebody up with some claws that come out of, bone claws that come out. Yeah, right, you know, like, seriously, I don't feel that. I don't think that. I think Wolverine, and I think it's really, really cool. I think that's a cool thing. If I go see, you know, Captain America, I don't think I can get a disc and fling a disc and hurt somebody with it, you know, like, I don't really think that. You know, or I go see a really violent movie with, like, a war movie where, you know, they're all in Afghanistan and fighting and got guns, all that sort of stuff. I do think that one can be a bit more real because, well, you've got to be in the army and go and do that. But at least in the army they teach you discipline and when not to shoot and when to shoot sometimes. I say sometimes with asterisks. I won't talk about that one today. Anyway, so, you know, I get that, but I don't think that, you know, like, things like, say, the original Independence Day, not the new one. But the original Independence Day, I don't think, you know, the aliens are coming and I'm gonna go shoot them, you know, I don't think that at all. I think that's it, you know, with the guns. And things like Die Hard, like, I don't think there's gonna be someone trying to take over a building, with like, you know, South African terrorists and, you know, Bruce Willis shooting away. He's a copper, by the way. He's a cop, he has a gun, but I don't think they go through those sorts of moments in their life. It's all movie made up. It's not real. It's what's inside the screen isn't real. You get to sink into that after a long hard day, but after you turn that TV off, you come back out and you're into reality again. You're back here in reality land, you know, where people get shot, people get killed, and that's the way it is. And to blame, as I said, video violence again, but then, like, other things like rap music, I get it. They say things about, I'm gonna shoot this, I'm gonna have my hose that, my n word says this, and no, you know, like, and I'm gonna shoot my n word this, and la that, and we know, okay, we know that rap music can be quite graphic, but it's because they are in gangs. Some of them. I won't say all of them, but some of them are in gangs, or some of them had something violent happen to them, so they rap about the thing that happened that night that made them into a rapper, or made them into someone who wanted to talk about their feelings and emotions. And that's what most music is, emotion, and coming out with an emotion, and maybe something that strong that they need to rap about it. Now, how people interpret rap is their, you know, psychological problem, and that's what I'm saying. People with psychological problems will see things their way and make things okay because it's like how their brain works, how they make things okay, when really it isn't okay. So, you know, again, trying to blame something that, sure, it sounds violent, it sounds graphic, doesn't exactly mean that that is the source of the violence. It can be a little precursor, a little switch, a little trigger, but it's not the actual thing. The actual thing is the person, and as I said again, that person must have a mental defect to see it their way. That's how they work, and that's how it always happens. So, again, this is what I'm trying to tell everyone. It comes down to the person who did it. It doesn't come back to what they saw in a video game, what they saw on a video or a movie, what they saw, you know, anytime. It's not like that at all. It's just how it is, you know, it's the way it is. But if you want to sit there and blame video violence and music violence, go ahead, you can do that, you can do it all you like, but there is no actual study that says yes. You know, these things always happen. These kids see violence and then they shoot things. Like, it's to do with your parents looking after you and teaching you the way things are, and also your mental disease, if it's been checked or not. That's what it comes down to, and how a person sees the world and views the world. That's what it comes down to. If you can't see that is the problem, then there is something wrong with you completely. But please, Donald Trump, please help my American brethren out there. Please keep them safe and stop being, you know, a chisel with hair. Seriously, stop with your little man hands. Stop it. Just stop it for a second. Stop your twittering, stop all your bullshit, stop all your Comic Sans bullshit. Please. 1 second. Be a real man. Step up to the plate and go, gun violence is not on. We have to protect our children. We have to protect everything. And the fact that those children from the shooting who were victims but were okay got out front of the White House today and laid down for the amount of time it took for this boy to go into a store and buy guns and ammo and come back out, I think was the bravest, the hardest, and the most awesomest thing I've ever seen protesters do, and it's so smart. And I thought that was brilliant. And it was a very quick lie down sort of protest, but at the same time it showed 2 seconds, like it didn't take that long for someone to go into a department store to go buy guns and come back out and shoot people. That's our takeaway from today, people. That's what I'm talking about. I was also going to talk today about the Barnaby Joyce sort of bullshit going on in our Australian politics today, but I really don't want to. I was going to talk about him being immoral and stupid and trying to, you know, in the gay marriage agenda, him saying, oh, but between a woman and a man, they have to be married and they have to be Christian, and then his Christian values going down the fucking toilet the time that he broke up with his wife to be with his staffer, and then getting her knocked up before they're even married. So, you know, Barnaby, you fucking dickhead, make sure that you practice what you fucking preach. That's all I gotta say about Barnaby Joyce. He makes me mad. He looks like he's a cherry tomato Yeah, because his face always looks so fucking red. So he looks like a cherry tomato head. With a little hat on, you know, because he's a nationalist. Where those country nationalists, you know, out in the country. He thinks he's a countryman when he's really not. But seriously, if you're gonna have your Christian fucking values, motherfucker, at least practice what you preach. Because otherwise you're going to get caught out, and you have been caught out big time, and that's why no one wants you in the parliament anymore, because you don't even stand up for your own beliefs, and that is a big no-no in Australian parliament. So get your story straight or you'll be out the door, pretty much. See, I wasn't going to talk about it today, and now you made me talk about it, so that's my view on that one today. And just put in your comments below about maybe you want to talk about the shooting and what happened today. Also, like, not happened today, but what happened with it. Maybe you have a view that's different from mine. Put that in the comments below. If you want to talk about the whole Barnaby Joyce situation, you want to talk about that, so that's fine. Put that in the comment below, or you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, on Tumblr. Find me on Google+, find me on my Patreon, and maybe leave a comment there. That's fine. I will come back and have a look at that. But other than that, today I don't want to talk about anything else. It just saddens me and sickens me that someone can just go in and another shooting. It's not the shooting, it's all of the shootings, you know, even those ones with those little kids. Remember the little kids one? I can't remember what it's actually called, but all those little kids being shot, that makes me mad also. Like, it's not just that shooting, it's every shooting that's ever occurred. And when I was a kid, the biggest one was Columbine. That's when I was starting high school, and I was scared that something like that would happen to me in Australia. So any comments, anything you want to talk about within that sort of spectrum, put it in the comments below. I'm happy to have that conversation with you and I, because I like to have conversations with anyone around there. Do not be mean or horrible, but if you do have a point of opinion, no swearing please, but I do want to have a conversation. I want to see your point of view and why, and have that conversation instead of a fight. I do not want fights to break out, so I just make that clear. But I'm just appalled. And also with that girl today pointing out, she was a victim who also pointed out today how much your government gets as kickbacks from the National Rifle Association, or the NRA, and how much they get back. It's $30 million they give to the president. Now, I don't think that's right either, and I really think that President Trump should look at the reforms and look at what needs to be done versus the greed that he has in your country. So yeah, I'm going to put a link to that speech below, if I can find a link for it somewhere, and I'll probably link to the Philip DeFranco today, because he put out great points about this subject and actually shows you what she said and has a little snippet of all the things she said. So I might even link from the Philip DeFranco show today. Please go watch that, because that is amazing. I love you guys. Keep safe, keep well wherever you are, and that gun violence is not on. It's disgusting, and it should only be kept in the wars, even though we shouldn't really have wars either. But keep your violence in wars, like real wars. Don't make them come to a peaceful place. If you have words to say to someone, have words with someone. Don't kill someone. It's a disgrace. Murder is wrong. Murder gets you sent to hell. Seriously. I love you guys, and I know I've waffled on for too long, but keep safe and be nice to one another, okay? Just be nice and humble towards each other, okay? Love one another, don't hate. This is the offensive. This is where you can be as offensive as you want or need to be, but not to me, because that is wrong, and it's also a hate crime. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!